And now, Mike's thoughts. Man hour. It never ceases to amaze me how crazy people in the NFL world can actually get. This whole rigged NFL crap is getting way out of hand at this point. Every comment that I've seen on YouTube and Facebook the last couple of days, the NFL is rigged. The NFL is rigged. The Chiefs are winning because the NFL is rigged. Shut up with that crap. I am so sick and tired of it, Combsy. If the NFL was truly rigged, let me play into your game here. Let's say it's truly rigged. They would not be allowed to be betting on the game if it was truly rigged. Can you bet on WWF stuff, WCW stuff? No, because that is a scripted out true thing. Can you bet on Major League Baseball? Yes, because it is not script. When when the NBA was quote being rigged, there was one rogue referee and he ended up in federal prison for like 15 years. So let me play into your game that if NFL is rigged, how would it benefit the Kansas City Chiefs being the Super Bowl winners year after year, right? Year after year. How would it benefit the New England Patriots to have that dynasty for 15 years? Wouldn't it benefit the NFL if the Dallas Cowboys were Super Bowl champions year after year? America's team, the largest fan base in the world. Wouldn't it benefit for the Raiders to win the Super Bowl, the biggest team in Mexico and South America and California? Obviously. So all with this NFL is rigged crap, guys. Just stop it at the end of the day. We are sick and tired of hearing it, Combs. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your station, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs. You know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA. We the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcusher here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Go check out the blog section as well. We have Be Yourself merch over there because never change who you are. And one thing I will not change is the co-host of the show, and that is Brandon Beastie Combs. What is up, Combsy?
What is going on, Michael Buckheister? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Man, it's been a couple of days, and I've been busy yelling at people on Facebook. You got me banned for 24 hours on Facebook because I yelled at myself and said I would kill you jokingly. So I got banned from commenting on any group that I was associated with for a day. Thanks for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
And now I'm going to yell at you because, Buck, you know that I've been all about. I don't think the NFL is rigged. I don't think sports are rigged.
Yeah.
I do believe Vegas plays a big part in some of the outcomes, though. I do believe that Vegas has some influence on calls in close games. Now, look, sometimes games get out of hand. Sometimes games are blowouts. Sometimes Vegas wins money. Sometimes they lose money, right? Mm-hmm. Because you can't get that many athletes to throw a game. You can't get that many athletes to not want to play hard and not want to win. However, in a close game, you can get a referee to call a phantom holding call in the Super Bowl. You can get a referee to call a phantom pass interference when you don't see one, or you can get a referee to not call a pass interference at the end of the game. We've seen that a couple times this year in Chicago. you can get referees to put that in their pocket. And if you keep it small enough, if you keep that circle small enough between Vegas, maybe the owners, probably not, but most likely Vegas and the referees, and we've already seen this in basketball. It's already happened in the NBA. They've already been busted in the NBA.
One referee
took the fall.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk all day about people taking the fall for people. I mean, we call Ray Lewis, try to get him on the show if you want. He knows all about people taking the fall for you.
Okay.
You know, that man had a body in his trunk.
Allegedly.
No, he actually had a body in his trunk. He just said he didn't put it there.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I do believe that Vegas does play a small influence, you know, and if I die in a car accident tomorrow, just know that Vegas might have been listening to the show.
So let me ask you this. What is easier to rig, UFC or NFL?
Probably the NFL.
Really? So when a UFC match goes to the judges, they go to their suggestion, right? Hey, I think this guy won 50-49, whatever, yada yada yada. How is that not easier to rig than an NFL game? But we don't talk about UFC being rigged,
because you can't rig whether or not a guy's going to get knocked out in the first round, second round, or third round. And there's no fighter. I mean, I'm not going to say no fighter because I think it happens in boxing all the time. I think boxing is probably the most rigged sport in the history of sports. But you're not. I can't imagine that you're going to get a Nick or Nate Diaz to go into an octagon and take a dive. You're not going to go and get, you know, a guy like, let's even go with like things that are going on now. Right? Could you imagine going into a fight and watching, you know, Anderson Spider Silva take a dive? As dominant as he was throughout his career, like, you're just not going to see it. These guys are competitors, man. They want to compete. So, yes, can you influence it with the judges? Sure. And there's been times where you get a UFC decision and you're just like, what just happened?
Right.
Like, what do you mean that guy won? You know what I mean? And so, yes, do I believe that Vegas has an influence? Sure. Do I believe sports are rigged? Absolutely not, because I don't think you get the athletes to participate in something like that.
And Patriots End Zone jumping in the chat here. What is up, Patriots End Zone? He says the NFL refs get paid more part-time than 75% of the UFC fighters. So I think it would be easier to rig the UFC if it was truly rigged, because, hey, I'll give you an extra $1 million if you take this punch on the chin.
And if you had, you know, whatever, you know, if you have NFL crew chiefs, or maybe not even NFL crew chiefs, maybe if you have 20 or 30 NFL referees in your pocket, you know, they could be making more money even than we know about. Because, again, can you explain to me why a referee would make a call on one play, and then when the same exact play happens later on, either swallow the whistle, or maybe he swallowed the whistle on that play earlier, but now he's blowing it on this play later in the game, that affects the outcome of the game?
Because sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Ask Angel Hernandez how many plays he sees.
Your job is to watch.
Your job's to watch the zone. Like, sometimes you catch something that you're like, oh, flag. And the next time, this catches your eye, but even though this is happening over here still, I mean, it's human nature.
Look, I know that. I understand it. I've reffed hockey.
Yeah.
At the high school level, at the college level. I've coached at the high school level, at the juniors level. Like, I understand that sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't. However, how many times do we pause a game after a call gets made? How many times have we pointed out on this show that there's a referee right there staring at the call?
Just because I'm looking at it doesn't mean I'm looking at it.
just because I'm right in front of it doesn't mean that I can see it. So that's why, to me, I mean, look, maybe it's not. I could absolutely be wrong. I've been known to be wrong a couple times in my life.
3 for sure.
Unlike our guy Wayne G, sometimes I'm wrong, and I do believe that. I mean, I just do. That's the only thing that I could think of that makes sense for some of the things that you see. Not all of them,
right?
But some of them.
So speaking of seeing and thinking here, Combs has been in Facebook jail 10 times. Stop threatening people, Combsy. But you know one you cannot get boned is right here, banned right here on the Man Hour, and that is with your eye test. Let's go with Combs' eye test.
Speaking of boning, look, this is my eye test, and sometimes I just call it like, actually, I always call it like I see it. And sometimes something that I'm seeing might line up with the numbers, right, Wayne G? Like when I'm talking about a guy like Trevor Lawrence being a bust, maybe it's not lining up with the numbers so far. It lined up with the numbers in the first season. Might not have lined up with it in the last half of last season when he was playing nobodies. However, this eye test is all about douchebags in sports. And there are a lot of douchebags in sports. But Draymond Green might be the biggest douchebag in sports, period. Because Draymond Green doesn't care about anybody but Draymond Green. Draymond Green does not care about his teammates. Draymond Green does not care about his organization. Draymond Green certainly does not care about the fans. Draymond Green cares about Draymond Green. We watched Sabonis drop to the ground the other night, and I know when he fell, he went to go grab his face. I don't know why he went to go grab it, but when he did, his arms went around the ankle of Draymond Green. Whether that was intentional or not, it kind of looked intentional. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but what I do know was intentional is the fact that Draymond Green stamped this man in the chest and then put all of his weight on the chest and jumped off of him. Draymond Green was suspended for 1 game today. 1 game for attempting to injure another player. The NBA showed everybody today that all they care about is the money. They need Draymond Green on the court for the Golden State Warriors to have a shot. They need Draymond Green to play for the money to keep coming in, for the Golden State Warriors to possibly erase a 2-0 deficit. The NBA doesn't care about its players. The NBA doesn't care about its fans. The NBA cares about money. Just like the douchebag Draymond Green. That's my eye test.
You know, speaking of rigged, the only reason why Draymond Green got suspended is because they are scared that they're going to lose. So they're like, hey, Golden State Warriors, we got to suspend Draymond Green. So speaking of...
What did you feel about that play? Did you see the play?
I saw like the Sports Center version of it. Yep. And why was your first instinct when you fall to go like cover your face? Like I'm very confused about that.
I don't know if he hit his head or what. I don't know why he was trying to cover his face.
Yeah.
Some people do believe that he was just doing it to grab Draymond Green's leg.
That's what it looked like.
To me, it looked like he went to go grab his face. When he felt Draymond's Green leg go, he went to go let it go to grab his face again. And when he did, it was already too late. Draymond Green was stepping on his chest and doing whatever he was doing.
Right.
I don't know if what Sabonis was doing was intentional. It might have been. It very well might have been.
Right.
And if so, that deserves some punishment as well. However, grabbing an ankle and trying to slow a man down is a lot different than trying to injure him. And I do know for a fact that what Draymond Green did was on purpose.
Well, being an athlete and being in the heat of the moment, and I was classified as a quote dirty player back in the day for a little while for some things that I've done and lewd.
That was just because you didn't shower.
But when people, you know, if you feel like you are attacked, grabbed by your ankle, you know, maybe shoved, sometimes you overreact a little bit too much, and I think Draymond Green just, it was instinct. He's like, hey, somebody's grabbing my ankle. F that. Boom. Get off me. Now, the whole jump on the chest, that was probably a little excessive. Speaking of excessive.
A little?
Drew's in the chat. Always excessive chat with Drew. What is going on, Drew? Long time no see. And, of course, Patriots end zone dropping with the Adrian Peterson. He is the biggest douchebag in sports. I get banned for saying that. I hope happens to that POS.
Do you know Do you know? Did you see the video on TikTok where the reporter didn't know that he was interviewing Draymond, or he was interviewing Adrian Peterson, and it was something where I forget what it was. It was something where they were asking Adrian Peterson. He didn't know it was Adrian Peterson, but he was asking him what he thought about a certain situation that had just developed. And he was like, "Yeah," he's like, "I don't know what people are thinking sometimes, blah 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 blah." And I'm just like, so I think it was like stealing a car or something. I'm like, so stealing a car is where he draws the line, but whooping your child in the genitalia with a switch, you're cool.
Yeah, I mean,
but the whole time it's kind of funny because the whole time he didn't know it was Adrian Peterson until after the interview was over. He say, "All right, what's your name?" Because he was going to get his name for the report.
right.
And it's Adrian Peterson, and the guy goes, "Wait, you're not the?" He's like, "Yeah, Adrian Peterson." He's like, "Oh my," and it was this whole thing. But
Yeah. I mean, let's just be honest. If you saw a football player in public because they're behind a mask, right? It is very hard to recognize like a average player. Now, I'm not saying Adrian Peterson is an average player by any means, but would you really be able to pick him out of a crowd if you weren't like a huge Vikings fan or a Lions fan? Probably not. Let's just be honest about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get that part. I mean, I could pick him out. I mean, I would know him if I saw him. I mean, when a guy's 6 foot whatever and absolutely shredded.
He's 5'10
I mean,
and a half. You're taller than he is.
I am not taller than Adrian Peterson.
Michelle jumped in the chat. It says, "What's up, Drew and Buck? What's going on, Michelle? Glad you're here." And Patriots end zone. Before we get into,
how come she only said hi to you and Drew?
Because she knows where the money lies, baby. Hey, Michelle, I'll be up there in a week, and we can, take care of business.
I will kill you.
I want to get some.
I can't get banned for saying that one.
I want to get some pizza. Can we go get some pizza while we're up there, Combs?
You could definitely get some pizza. We'll get some deep dish.
There we go. Draymond should have kicked him in the face. Very, very true. Ooh. And Michelle says, "I see you every day."
Said that?
She doesn't see me every day. Wayne G. Patriots end zone said Draymond should have kicked him in the face.
Wow. A little excessive, but okay.
Talking about,
he's on the side of Draymond Green.
Hey, have you seen Wayne G's play golf? He should be kicking a lot more than faces. He needs to kick that golf ball around. Bet stamp, Combsy, let's do it.
All right, so if you guys are not on Betstamp yet, you need to get there. Today's podcast is brought to you by Betstamp.app, which is helping thousands of people win at sports betting for free. The same way travelers use Google Flights and Expedia to find the best prices, bettors can now use Betstamp to do the same. When you place a bet, the odds given by a sportsbook will determine how much you can possibly win. Even when betting on the same outcome, different sportsbooks will offer varying payouts, and these differences can be huge. Thankfully, Betstamp allows you to easily line shop for the most profitable odds across all the sportsbooks. You can click on any matchup and instantly see all the different odds for game lines, player props, and even future bets. Line shopping is the simplest way to find an edge in Betstamp betting and maximize your chances of winning long term. On average, Betstamp users win an extra $1,000 yearly just by line shopping. You can find Betstamp.app on the Apple iOS Store, Google Play Store, or through your browser at www.betstamp.app. To access all these benefits, sign up using promo code MANHOUR and start your journey to successful sports betting today. If you forget to use the code upon sign up, you can always enter our code in your Betstamp account settings afterwards. Check it out. That is promo code MANHOUR on betstamp.app. And I got to tell you, Buck, I've been looking at we got a lot of stuff going on in sports. It's always my favorite time of sports. We got the NFL draft coming up, which we will be live at Bourbon Street here in Chicago.
Yes, sir. Deep Six is coming.
It's going to be a great night. We're also in the midst of the NHL and NBA playoffs. We've got baseballs in full bore. My Cubbies are playing really well out of the gate.
They are.
But when it comes to this time of year, man, I love placing bets on hockey. I love the hockey playoffs. NHL playoffs, to me, are the most exciting playoffs in all of sports, bar none. Yep. They are just end-to-end action, nonstop, especially in the third period and overtimes. But I like going there. And for me today, what I'm going to do on Best Stamp is I'm looking right now at the LA Kings and Edmonton Oilers tonight. Two teams that love to score. They can put the puck in the net at will. I'm taking this over 6.5 all day long. And on Bet Stamp right now, the best bet for your money is Barstool at plus 102. So it's a plus 102 at over 6.5 for the Kings in Edmonton tonight. And that plus 102 means for every $100 you bet, you win 102.
Oh, wow. Give me some of that, baby. So, yeah, guys, if you haven't signed up for Barstool Sports, head over to betstamp.app/groups. Use promo code MANHOUR. And guess what, Combs? BetStamp will give you the minimum deposit to cover that. So, it is fantastic. But, guys, it is time to get into the meat and bones of today's show. And today's show is all about fact or crap. We are officially 8 days until the NFL draft, and there have been some major moves and some major things coming out. As I got a sneeze coming, Combs. I got a sneeze coming.
Oh, God. Bless you. You stutter when you sneeze, too. Did you know that?
Yeah, it was very excessive. I've been watching wrestling like as of late, and I don't know why. Like, that's like on my YouTube feeds all the time. I'm like, oh, so I feel like I got to sell stuff. But anyways, speaking of selling stuff, the San Francisco 49ers are officially in the market of selling Trey Lance. Teams are calling the San Francisco 49ers, Combs, and they are interested in the former first round in Trey Lance. So with that being said, fact or crap, should the San Francisco 49ers even be interested in shopping Trey Lance?
That is crap for right now. If they don't land Aaron Rodgers, it's crap. Because what you should do is you should have a quarterback competition. And you need to see between Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. You want Trey Lance to be what you have put all this effort and time into if you're the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy, if he's even a third as good as he was last year, they got to steal with Mr. Irrelevant in the draft, right?
Right.
So at the very least, you have a 1-2 combo. At the very least, you have a very good backup to Trey Lance. And if Trey Lance isn't what you thought he was, you got another guy who can carry the load for the next 5 years or so until you can find somebody else to take over. Or you have a superstar in Brock Purdy. That's another option. I mean, if you really do have a superstar in Brock Purdy, then you can do whatever you want with Trey Lance. But until you have a replacement for Trey Lance, or until you know that Trey Lance is not the guy, you've got to hang on to him.
Yeah. See, this is the problem with being like the prisoner of the moment. Yes, Brock Purdy had a great 8-game run, right? He was 7-0, and then they end up losing the NFC Championship game, right? But you guys have to realize the San Francisco 49ers were a very, very good team last year. They were literally a plug-and-play quarterback system. They went through 4 or 5 quarterbacks last season, and and they haven't improved the offensive line. Jimmy G broke his leg. Trey Lance broke his leg. Was it Josh Jacobs or Josh Johnson got a concussion the first play he was in there, and then Brock Purdy came in. So to think that you don't need an abundance of quarterbacks on this roster is absolutely asinine at the end of the day. And Wayne G says, if it's not a first round draft pick for Trey Lance, they should hang up. Let me ask you this. How many games has Trey Lance played since 2019 in college and the NFL? The answer is 6. 6 total games he has played since 2019. Combs, that is 4 years. Look how rusty Deshaun Watson was after a year and a half. So to think that you're going to get a first round draft pick for Trey Lance, I think that is kind of a reach at the end of the day, and like I don't see it happening. Do you think a first round draft pick for Trey Lance would happen?
No. For Trey Lance, you're getting you might get a third, maybe a second at the most. I think that's the highest you could possibly think of for Trey Lance. But at this point, what has he shown you?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if you're a GM trying to come in and get Trey Lance, what is your motivation for giving up more than a third round pick here?
You are basically going to the draft all over again, and you're hoping on potential, right? Potentially he could be a first round draft pick. Potentially he can do this and this and this. Well, from what we've seen in the NFL, Trey Lance is not very good, right?
Right. Yeah. And look, he looked really bad in the game here in Chicago in week 1 last year. However, I mean, I do give him the benefit that it was in the middle of a monsoon.
Justin Fields performed.
He didn't look very good in week 2 either, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then I believe it was week 3 when he got hurt, or was it week 4? Either week 3 or week 4.
Either way, it was very early in the game.
Yeah, it was very early. But he just wasn't looking like a quarterback that was going to take the San Francisco 49ers to even a playoff. And that's tough because we know how good the San Francisco 49ers team was.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it got better after Trey Lance went down. I don't know if everybody else in the NFL, I don't know if because there's obviously guys out there who have positions in the NFL front offices that are a lot smarter than I am when it comes to the game of football. But I just don't see anywhere where I would go there and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm happy giving you a second round draft pick.
Well, and then like let's not even stop there. Let's go back to what the 2021 season when he came in for a game or two or 2 games for Jimmy G. He didn't look very good then either. Yes, granted he was still, new. It was his first start, yada yada yada, but still like you cannot continue the excuse like, "Oh, I haven't played, I haven't done this, yada yada." But just maybe Combs, maybe, just maybe, we need to put the bus label on Trey Lance. Is it time to maybe say, hey, enough of this excuses, enough, maybe you're just not very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there yet with Trey Lance. The jury's still out, but I put him in that Trevor Lawrence category. A guy who was supposed to be better than what he has been so far in the league. Trevor Lawrence was trending up at the last half of last year. I mean, it was against the last 4 teams in the NFL, but he looked good in the last few games. And, a lot of people forget they were 4-8 before that point.
Right.
So I put him in about that category. I put him in the you've got to show me more category.
Yeah, so only time will tell what the San Francisco 49ers end up doing with Trey Lance. Spoiler alert, they do have no first or second round draft picks, so maybe that could be some incentive to get Trey Lance out the door as well, which we talk about that here in a little bit. Speaking of talking about it in a little bit, we're going to talk about this right now. Allen Robinson II has officially been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers from the LA Rams. The Rams, I feel, are complete rebuild mode. They're saying just get everybody off the books. Hopefully we can be good in 2030 or 2030, I should say. But Combs, with the addition of Allen Robinson II to the Pittsburgh Steelers, are the Pittsburgh Steelers now the best team in the AFC North?
No. The Cincinnati Bengals are still the cream of the crop in the North. They're going to be the cream of the crop in the North for a long time. I don't even know if the Pittsburgh Steelers are as good as the Cleveland Browns right now. I really don't. I think with their quarterback situation, I'm not obviously not a big believer in Mitch Trubisky. Being a Bears fan, I've seen enough of him. And I'm not sold that what's his face? Their number 1 quarterback there. Kenny Pickett. Yep. I'm not sold that Kenny Pickett can be that guy. So I don't think Allen Robinson really puts you over the top. He's not better than Deontay Johnson. He's not better than George Pickens. I'm not even sure that he'll end up being your 3rd string quarterback. He's an aging wide receiver in the league. I think this was a meh signing.
First of all, you can, I guess, say he's aging, right? He's 29, 30 years old. You as a
Old
Bears
in the NFL.
What's that?
That's old in the NFL.
Right, but he has kind of had some longevity playing with the Bears that he never got the ball, and then playing with the Rams when they just weren't very good. But when we look at the roster of the Pittsburgh Steelers now, Combs, Allen Robinson doesn't have to be a number one receiver. He can be the number 3 receiver. George Pickens is probably their number 1. A great pickup. Deontay Johnson is going to be sneakily probably a top 10, top 15 receiver in the league, hands down. They still have Najee Harris, right? Probably going to be a top 5 running back in the league this year as well. And that defense is, bar none, a top 3, top 2 defense in the league. Might be the best defense in the league, right behind the San Francisco 49ers. Kenny Pickett, he is going to be the X factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers team this season. Are they going to take a big jump, or are they still going to be that 500 team that they were last season? But I think the addition of Allen Robinson is going to be sneaky good. Yes, the Bengals might be the cream of the crop in the AFC North, as you say, as the Patriots End Zone says as well. But let's just be honest. It is tough to being hunted week after week after week, and the Bengals are hunted week after week after week. With that being said, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the best team in the AFC North. They are better than the Cleveland Browns.
God.
They are better than the Cincinnati Bengals. They're better than the Baltimore Ravens. The AFC North, for one, is going to be the most competitive division in football, bar none. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers win the division with 11 games, Combs. Allen Robinson gives them 2 to 3 wins extra this season, and that is what they need to be the best team in the North.
Are you on drugs?
I am not on drugs.
Are you drunk?
I should be.
I mean, there's got to be something that makes you say outlandish shit like you just said. You're telling me that a team with Kenny Pickett leading the charge,
right,
with a team and you talk about Allen Robinson only being 29. He's going on, I believe, his 10th season in the league. He's had 2 really good seasons, both of which were with the Bears, both of which he had over 90 catches and over 1,000 yards receiving. Mm-hmm. But he's aged. 10 years in the league for a receiver is a lot. There's a reason why the Rams don't want him back. There's a reason why the Bears were okay letting him go. There's a reason for so for him to all of a sudden vault them over not only the Cleveland Browns, but also the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals, you're out of your mind.
When we look at the Steelers, Combs, who now has the best receiving core in the AFC North? I'm going to give it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. No.
What?
Now, I
will
out
of your mind?
If it's just a 2-horse race, yes, Bengals. Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd are definitely the 1-2 punch of the AFC North. But when you throw that number 3 in there, I would take Allen Robinson.
Is the number 2 in Cincinnati, you moron? Tyler Boyd is the number 3.
Okay, either way, it doesn't matter. If it's a 1-2 punch, Bengals. 1, 2, 3, give me the Steelers all day long. The Steelers 3-person receiver core is better than the Cincinnati
Cooper
Bengals.
And Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Yeah.
And Elijah Moore? And David Njoku?
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. The Steelers have the best receiver core in the AFC North right now with the 1, 2, 3 punch.
They're better than Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., and DuVernay?
Yes. Look at their quarterback there.
You're out of your mind,
Look
dude.
at the quarterback there.
You are out of your mind. We're not talking about the quarterback. We're talking about the wide receiving core.
They have to get the ball from somewhere. They have to get the ball from somewhere.
Buck, you're crazy.
Just because you have Odell Beckham Jr. and Rashad Bateman, Lamar Jackson can still throw the ball with 5 yards on a dot, right?
Dude, they've also got Nelson Aguilar on that team.
Mr. Drop himself. Talking about being on 5 teams.
You're crazy, man.
Hasn't Nelson Aguilar been on 5 teams? The Eagles, the Patriots, the Raiders, and now the Ravens? Wow.
Dude, but now to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers being a better football team
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
Who has the better defense, the Steelers or the Bengals? Overall defense.
The Bengals.
Really?
110%. The Bengals.
You are talking about being drunk. What's in that cup over there? What?
But the Bengals had didn't they have the 9th ranked defense in all of the NFL last
And
year?
the Steelers had the number 5 ranked defense.
They did not.
The Steelers were damn good last year, Combs. Look beyond the stats. When TJ Watt was in there, the Steelers were the best defense in the NFL. Granted, he did miss 4 or 5 games, and the Steelers lost those 4 or 5 games. But when they were in there, when he was in there, he was a game changer. If TJ Watt and that defense would have been healthy all last season, they would have made a deep playoff run with a rookie Kenny Pickett.
I'm looking it up right now. The Bengals were ranked 3rd. The Steelers were ranked 22nd.
That's fine. Look beyond those stats. TJ Watt changed the games. How many games did he miss? TJ Watt missed a lot of football games last year.
Come on, man. Let's put a bet. We gotta have some sort of bet on this.
Sure.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers, so you're telling me the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win the division?
As of right now, if the season were to start right now, yes, I would take the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Cincinnati Bengals right now, with the addition of Allen Robinson II.
What are we betting? What do you want to put on the line, Bob?
Well, the problem is the season doesn't start right now. You still have to have the draft.
Okay.
Yeah,
Remember when I talked about douchebags in sports?
Yeah. but let's just be honest. The draft could put the Baltimore Ravens up at the very very top. What if the Ravens drafted a Will Levis? I'm just saying.
I can't with you.
There is no need to can't because I'm right. The Steelers are good. Patriots End Zone says Steelers red carpet defense, but Buck's eye test has them at top 5. LOL. Don't hate the game. Don't hate the game.
He's not hating the game. He's hating the player. You're stupid.
Nailed it. Oh, my notes aren't there. Moving on. Bills safety Damar Hamilin has officially said he is going to make a comeback to the NFL, or he's going to attempt to make a comeback to the NFL. Combs, fact or crap, does Damar Hamlin make a comeback in this year in the NFL?
Oh, yeah, that's a fact. He's been cleared by doctors. He's ready to go. I mean, whether or not he's going to be able to play at the level he played before, I mean, it's going to be a mental game for him, right? Is he going to be able to still go hard after a tackle, or is he going to be afraid that the same thing is going to happen to him? There's going to be a mental challenge for this kid, and it remains to be seen whether or not it's going to affect his game. I hope it doesn't. He's a very good player, and I think he's going to continue to be a very good player for the Buffalo Bills, and I think it's going to be a good story. It's going to be a fun story to watch throughout the first couple of weeks, and to see how he, accepts being back into the NFL.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be his biggest drawback. Is it is going to be a story. Much like many people have Kobe Bryant as one of the greatest players of all time, we are the prisoner of the moment because he passed away. Damar Hamlin is, per PFF Combs, he is on the bottom half, ranked number 64 as a safety. His overall stats are 60%. Yes, he had a good couple games. He, yada, 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 but he wasn't that good. I'm not saying he was a bad player. I'm just saying I think the Buffalo Bills found his replacement when he was out. They will find his replacement in the draft. If he does make a team or makes the Buffalo Bills, it will kind of be like a sympathy farewell thing, right? To get the people going. I don't see him making a team, especially the Buffalo Bills. And if he does, it will be simply because, hey, thank you for what you've done. I don't think he's that good, to be honest.
I think he is that good. And I don't think that he is. I think his mental makeup and the way that he handled everything during the playoffs and all the attention that he was getting during the playoff run with the Buffalo Bills, as short-lived as it was, he handled it well. Like, he wasn't a guy that you see going there and not taking it all in. Like, he appreciated the moment. Like, he appreciated all of the tweets and all of the the donations to his charities and all that stuff that happened to him. I'm not so sure that this guy's mental makeup is really going to hurt him. I think it's going to help him. I think, as long as he can get past, hopefully there's no PTSD with the what had happened. If he can get past that part of it, I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, that is the big key, is the mental aspect of, like, hey, if I do this again, is it going to happen to me again? Yeah. So I definitely get it. But let's go ahead and move on to the last factor crap of the day here, and that is our man Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, Combs says it is night and day right now since he's been in Cleveland, and he is, quote, ahead of his game and is ready to play in 2023. Factor crap, Combs. Does Deshaun Watson have to lead the Browns to the playoffs in 2023?
Yes. It has to be worth it. They have to find out if all that money that they paid him, and there's a lot of damn money, is going to be worth it. I think they're going to have a bounce back season, a full season of Deshaun Watson. They're not going to have any, suspension to deal with. He's going to come back way before week 12. He is going to be in a spot where he can actually lead this team and start it off with training camps, continue it into the preseason, and continue it in the regular season. This is his team. He's going to have full workouts with them. He has no excuses now because he's not coming off of a 2-year hiatus.
Right.
He got to play the last half of last season. You're playing in you're redoing your rookie year. That's what you have to take this as. You are redoing your rookie year. You played half a season coming up. Now you're going in and you got to make this your team. With that wide receiving core that I talked about earlier, with Donovan Peoples-Jones and Amari Cooper, and they've got David Njoku as a tight end, like, this team is going to be good. And as long as Deshaun Watson, can be the quarterback that he was in Houston, he'll be just fine. And if not, they'll have to just get a masseuse.
I love how you transition there, but just to go on what you said, yes. The Browns have to be competing for the division. They have to compete in the playoffs. They have to win a playoff game this year, I think, just because the defense is pretty good. The offense is pretty good as well. They have constructed a very good team around Watson and around what's the coach's name right now? I can't think of a name right now. But they have constructed a very good team in Cleveland. And I said it when I released my pre-draft rankings, when I have them at number 3. I have the Browns finishing at number 3 right now, and that is because the wild card is Deshaun Watson. Will he be able to become the player that he was in Houston when they went to those playoff games? Was it his rookie or second year when they played the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round, when they literally had nobody around him, right? It just, like, now there is really no excuse not to be successful. There is no excuse not to win 10, 11, 12, 13 games this season. There is no excuse for the Browns to miss the playoffs. And I think, Combs, let's say he does miss the playoffs. Is it time to possibly put that bust label on Deshaun Watson?
No, you can't put the bus label. I mean, he's already succeeded the bus label. I mean, he was a very good quarterback in Texas, if not great. We were talking about him being a top 5 quarterback when he was the Houston Texans quarterback. He got derailed and he got railroaded by the Houston Texans organization. He just did. He's just got to get past that. And I think that he can. I think his talent will allow him to do so. And as long as the Cleveland Browns allow him to take over and be himself, as long as this offense gets tailored to his style of play, they're going to be an 11 to 12 win team.
You're exactly right. But let me throw this out there for you. Many people have been comparing Watson to Lamar, right? Lamar Jackson has more playoff appearances than Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson has playoff wins. Deshaun Watson doesn't. So is Lamar Jackson better than Deshaun Watson?
No, absolutely not. Deshaun Watson has quarterback presence. Deshaun Watson has quarterback IQ. Deshaun Watson has an arm to complete passes. All things Lamar Jackson just doesn't have. And I mean, I think Deshaun Watson's going to do good things in Cleveland. I really do. I'm going to be high on the Cleveland Browns this year. Might even pick them to win the division over Cincinnati. I'm not sure yet. We'll see where we go when that time comes. But I think that the Cleveland Browns are going to be a very good football. How cool would it be to watch the Cleveland Browns win a Super Bowl?
I would not hate it. I mean, I wouldn't love it because, obviously my team wouldn't be in it, but I wouldn't hate it, right?
Right. Like, I mean, how cool of a story would it be to that fan base deserves to see a Super Bowl.
Well, yeah.
That fan base deserves to see a winning product on the field. I think they're going to get it this year. I don't know if they're going to get Super Bowl, but I think they're going to see a winning product on the field over the next, whatever handful of these seasons.
Right.
But man, it would be great to watch them win the Super Bowl. I would be rooting for it.
I actually just had this conversation with somebody on Facebook last night or this morning. I can't remember for sure. The problem with the AFC right now is that so many teams got so good so fast. The Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals. You can throw the Cleveland Browns in there now, right? The Baltimore Ravens. The reason why we're not seeing a dynasty out of the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills or the Bengals is because the AFC is so balanced and so good. Does this ultimately possibly hurt a team like the Cleveland Browns? The fact that they have the Kansas City Chiefs to compete with the Buffalo Bills, etc.
Yeah, I mean, the AFC is going to be tough. I mean, coming out of the AFC is going to be where there's so much parity in the NFL all over the place as it is.
Right.
But especially in the AFC, I mean, most of your great quarterback play right now is in the AFC. When you're talking about Joe Burrow, you're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Allen and now Deshaun Watson. You're getting really great quarterback play there, and if Trevor Lawrence continues to trend up, he can make his way into that conversation.
Right.
And Jacksonville could be good. It's going to be tough for the Cleveland Browns. It does hamper the Cleveland Browns that they have to deal with teams like Cincinnati, who I think might be the best team in the NFL. Buffalo, Kansas City. I mean, those are tough hurdles to overcome, but that's why they say any given Sunday.
Exactly. That's what they say, any given Sunday. But on any given Wednesday here, I got to cut out a little earlier because apparently people like to make Instagram threats or something like that. So we got to get out of here. Oh, so in our area, there's been a lot of bomb threats in the school. And now our school has been targeted with another bomb threat. It's just like at this point, stop it, kids. Stop being dumb.
I want a day off of work.
Sheesh.
Can you hit that Instagram account and let them know that they can?
I will not.
Oh wait, I work from home.
I will not. Send us out, Combs.
Man, our nation, rise up.